Good morning and welcome to Going to Work with Gena, which is an inspiremercial for STEM students. I'm Dr. Gena Henderson. STEM students, this morning I want to speak with you about memorization versus practicing techniques. And the reason I want to speak with you about these things is because I know that it's almost the end of the third 9 weeks for middle school students. And I know that your finals for the quarter start tomorrow. So with that being said, I want you to understand when you are doing math, it is so hard to memorize. Memorizing formulas, it is better to practice techniques. When I say practice, I mean doing a technique over and over and over again. So for instance, if you are in algebra and you are doing quadratic equations, that's like x squared plus b x plus c equals 0. That's a quadratic equation. There are so many ways that you can find what x is, okay? But I just want you to know you can complete the square. You can use the quadratic formula. But you also can use the FOIL method. What I saw someone doing was she was actually had memorized, said the teacher had given her a list of all the numbers that you would see that the letter C was equal to if it was a perfect square. And I was like, what? You memorized that? That is so much to memorize. I said it would be so much better if you just understood how to do the FOIL technique. So when I was checking the work where she had used completing the square, quadratic equations, and all the other techniques, I noticed that there was always like a sign on the integer that was messed up using the techniques that she was actually using. And so I was saying, why don't you always use the FOIL method as your backup, even though you know the other techniques? And she said she had talked to a friend that day, and that teacher taught them, the friend, a different method in doing these quadratic equations. So I just want to let students know that for quadratic equations, the FOIL method works. It's a technique that you have to use in order to know it, but you should not be memorizing numbers so you'll know if something ends in a quadratic number, then you know it's a perfect square. That's ridiculous. So I'm not being critical. I just think certain things or certain other techniques are just simpler than others, okay? So another thing too, when it comes to history tests, you don't want to memorize that either. What you want to do is the reading assignment that the teacher has given you. You want to make sure that you have read the stories. It's easy to recounter, things that happen in a certain story than it is to memorize. Just memorizing a data sheet that the teacher asks you to fill out, okay? So I want to wish everybody well tomorrow as you start your finals, okay? I want to thank you for going to work with Gena this morning. Have a marvelous day.